tan 2 into tan 88. Now you wrote it as, I can write it as tan 2 into cot 88. No, you cannot write it like this, Saket. This angle is 88 degrees for tangent. For cot also it will not be same 88. What is that you actually need to write is, if I solve it in step by step method, if I solve it in step by step method for your understanding, I wrote this tan as it is. 88 can be written as 90 minus 2, right? 88 can be written as 90 minus 2, and tan of 90 minus 2 is nothing but, it is cot 2. That means tan 88 is nothing but cot 2, not cot 88, because they are reciprocal relation. Product of reciprocal relation will always be equal to 1. See here, sir. What was the question which I gave you? Many people are answering the question as 1. Now see here. Tan 35. Everyone listen carefully. Tan 35 into tan 55. Just now I explained many questions of this sort. Can I say that this is nothing but equal to tan 35 into tan of 90 minus 35. Listen carefully, sir. I am writing step by step only for your better understanding. This is tan 35 into cot 35. Tan 35 and cot 35 are reciprocal to each other. The product will be equal to 1. That means, can I do like this? I told you multiple times in so many questions before. Can I say that 35 degrees and 55 degrees, the sum is nothing but 90 degrees. That means, point number 1, if two angles sum is becoming 90, if two angles sum is becoming 90, if alpha and beta, if the sum of two angles alpha and beta is becoming 90, then I can conclude these following things. Can I say that tan alpha into tan beta, tan alpha into tan beta, the product will always be equal to 1. The tan alpha into tan beta, the product of tan alpha and tan beta will always be equal to 1. Similarly, second conclusion is sin alpha. Now think logically. For sin, suppose I have sin 35 degrees. I am just explaining one logic for you. Sin 35 degrees and I have sin 35 degrees and I have secant 55 degrees, for example. Can I write this secant 55 as secant of 90 minus 35? Secant of 90 minus 35 is cos 35. Sin 35 and cos 35. Right, sin 35 and cos 35. What is the value? Sin 35 and cos 35, sorry, not cos 35, sir. Secant should be converted to cosecant by allied angles. I made a mistake. It is cosecant 35. Sin 35 into cosecant 35. What is the product? Product is nothing but 1. That means sin alpha into secant alpha. If the alpha into secant beta, if alpha plus beta is nothing but 35 plus 55, 90 degrees, then sin alpha into secant beta, the product is again equal to 1, right? The product is again equal to 1, right? I hope you are understanding. Why? Because by using allied angles, what is the reciprocal of sine? Reciprocal of sine is cosecant. I need to get cosecant. Which term, which trigonometric function, when I convert by using allied angles, I will get cosecant. Secant, if I convert by using allied angles, I will get cosecant. So these two pair will go hand in hand. Similarly, what are the other two pairs which will go hand in hand? If I write cos alpha, now think logically again, sir. Cos alpha means the product, if it has to become 1, I should get secant alpha here, right? I should get secant alpha, but I am not talking in terms of alpha in this case. Cos alpha into secant alpha is nothing but 1, right? But can I say that, think logically, for me to get secant, which trigonometric function if I convert, it will come as secant. Cosecant, if I convert, I will get it as secant. So cos alpha into cosecant beta is equal to 1, provided alpha plus beta is nothing but 90 degrees. I hope you are able to understand the concept. Similarly, the last conclusion which we can make is cot alpha into cot beta, the product will always be equal to 1. This is exactly what we studied till now by taking multiple examples, tan 1, tan 2, tan 3, tan 4, tan 88, tan 89. The product is 1. The product is 1. That is what we found out till now. Whenever two sums of angles are becoming 90 degrees, I can use this particular 4 values or conclusions which I just now wrote it. Kindly comment in the live chat if these conclusions are very clear for you, sir. Right? These conclusions I have written only after understanding multiple questions, only after solving and understanding multiple questions of similar kind, so that it should not be a confusion for you people. In fact, I also solved another question here for your better understanding before I wrote second conclusion. Kindly comment in the live chat if these conclusions are very clear for you. Kindly comment in the live chat, sir. Kindly comment in the live chat if these conclusions are clear, because based on these conclusions we will solve few more questions right now, which are nothing but questions which came in your examinations also. Kindly comment in the live chat. I am more interested in knowing whether my student understood it or not, rather than I am explaining it in an understandable way, because I know that I will explain in an understandable way. If it is still not convincing or not clear for my students, I will definitely want to explain it once again for my students. I hope these conclusions are very clear. Now think logically, sir. This is alpha plus beta is 90 degrees. If the sum of two angles is becoming 90 degrees, these 4 conclusions I can derive. Similarly, if the sum of two angles is becoming 180 degrees, suppose if alpha plus beta is nothing but 180 degrees, then can I conclude that sin alpha into what is the reciprocal of sine? Reciprocal of sine is cosecant. Cosecant beta, the product will be equal to 1. Sir, can you prove it, sir? It is very easy to prove. Sine alpha into cosecant of beta. Beta is nothing but 180 minus alpha. So cosecant of 180 minus alpha. Now we know that whenever it is 180 minus theta, trigonometric function will remain same. It is sin alpha into cosecant b alpha, right? Into cosecant alpha. And can I also say that 180 minus alpha, it lies in second quadrant where sin and cosecant both are positive. So it is plus cosecant alpha. Sin and cosecant are reciprocal. Product is equal to 1. That means sin alpha and cosecant beta, the product will definitely be equal to 1. Similarly, can I also conclude that tan alpha into cot beta, the product will also be equal to 1. Similarly, the other one which is for cosine also can be very easily derived as cos alpha into secant beta, the product will be equal to 1. These are all very easy thing once you understand the concept. I am taking the sum as 180, and 180 plus or minus theta, the trigonometric function will never change. So take the same reciprocal of all these trigonometric functions, so that when you multiply, the product will become 1. As easy as understanding. It is very easy to understand. The reciprocal of tan is cot, yes, over. The reciprocal of cos is secant, yes, over. There is no difficulty in learning these things. But here they are not reciprocal relations. Why? Because it is sum is complementary. In the next case, whatever I have taken, the sum is supplementary. I hope the idea of supplementary angles also is very clear for my students. Kindly comment once again, sir. Kindly comment once again if it is clear for you. Very good. Now see here. Easy way to remember, sir. Don't make it complicated. Easiest way to remember is, can I say that if it is complementary, if it is 90 degrees, tan is starting with t. This tan is also starting with t. Both are t and t. Sin is with s. Secant also with s. Both are s and s. Cos and cosecant, both are c and c. Cot and cot, both are c and c. Very easy to remember, sir. There are multiple shortcuts where I am teaching you to remember. You decide which is the best shortcut for you to remember. Similarly, if I take 180 degrees, 180 degrees is very easy because it will always be complementary angles. Tan alpha and cot beta, sir. Okay, let us check it out. There might be small things which I have made mistake here. Let us check it out. Tan alpha, yes. Sin also we need to take care of, which I did not take care of in this case. Right? You are absolutely right, sir. I might have missed out the sin. Very true. It is cot of 180 minus alpha. So yes, you are absolutely true. Cot of 180 minus alpha is nothing but, it is nothing but minus cot alpha. So minus need to be taken care of, which I forgot in this case. Very very good, sir. Similarly, in the same case, in the same it is the same thing here also, because cos of 180 minus alpha is nothing but, or secant of 180 minus alpha is nothing but minus secant alpha. Now why it is becoming plus 1 here, why it is minus 1 in this case, which I forgot to mention here, because 180 minus something will come in second quadrant. In second quadrant, first value which I wrote, first identity or first conclusion which I derived here, sin and cosecant are positive, therefore it is plus 1. In other two cases I forgot to mention here as minus 1 because I forgot to take care of negative signs, sir. This is where my students are excellent in finding out the mistake. I am very very glad to hear that, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for making it correct in my screen and making it as minus 1 in both the two cases. So it is cos alpha into secant of 180 minus alpha. Secant of 180 minus alpha is again a negative value because only sin and cosecant are positive, which is nothing but what I wrote in my first conclusion. And it is very easy to remember 90 plus 90 complementary sum, because it is t and t, it is s and s, it is cos and cosecant, which is c and c, cot and cot, again it is c and c. No need to use too much of bigger things in this, just a small common sense or small understanding is required to solve our problems. Now see here, sir, we will continue solving our problems in this case for our better understanding. Now listen carefully. Before we solved the problem, we understood that we were solving this variety of problem. If tan alpha into tan beta will be equal to 1 if the sum of those two angles alpha and beta is 90 degrees, right? We were solving this variety of problem and then we realized that somewhere I need to explain this super hexagon concept for you, so I just deviated from that concept. Now see here, sir, another beautiful question we will solve using this concept. The question is, if tan of x plus y, if tan of x plus y into tan of x minus y, if tan of x plus y into tan of x minus y is equal to 1, then find the value of, these are all very very beautiful questions. Sin 2x plus cos 2x plus tan x plus cot x. I need to find the value of sin 2x plus cos 2x plus tan x plus cot x. Very easy way of solving, sir. Do not waste your time in doing so many other things in solving this question. Very very easy way of solving. Now see here, just now we learnt tan alpha into tan beta, if it is 1, then alpha plus beta will be 90. This x plus y I will call it as alpha, x minus y I will call it as beta. Alpha plus beta, can I say that tan alpha into tan beta, this is equal to 1. If that is equal to 1, then definitely the sum of the angles will be 90 degrees. That means first angle is x plus y plus second angle is x minus y. The sum of these two angles will be definitely equal to 90 degrees. 2x is equal to 90 degrees. X will be equal to 45 degrees. Over, sir, your answer. Why are you thinking that it's a difficult question? The first thing I want to teach my students is, first, don't ever be making an assumption in your mind that when you see a question that it's a difficult question. When you create that kind of an assumption, the easiest question also seem to be a difficult question. Don't ever make that assumptions every time in your life, sir. See that what should be the answer? Sin 2x, sin into 2, sin of 2 into 45, sin 90 is 1. Cot 2x, cos of 90 is 0. Tan x, tan 45 is 1. Cot x, cot 45 is also 1. Answer is 3. Over. We are discussing this variety. We already solved so many questions using this variety. We are still continuing to solve many questions using this variety. I hope the idea is very very clear for you, sir. We will solve, we will solve, we will solve. We will keep solving as long as we will understand it so beautifully. If sine 3 alpha plus secant, sorry, not plus, into, if sine 3 alpha into secant of 43 minus 2 alpha is equal to 1, find alpha value. Find the value of alpha. Now, if you remember, sir, in our conclusion, we also concluded saying that if sine alpha into secant beta is equal to 1, then alpha plus beta is again 90 degrees. If you have written this, please kindly go back and check it out. Definitely I would have written this. This is sine alpha, not beta. If sine alpha into secant beta is equal to 1, then alpha plus beta is definitely equal to 90 degrees. I explained this half an hour before. It is not a new concept for you. I explained it in detail. Now see here, sir. Same thing I will make use of. This particular angle and the angle of secant, I need to add and I should equate it to 90 degrees. Over answer. Angle for sine is 3 alpha and angle for secant is 43 minus 2 beta. I should add these two angles and then I should equate it with 90 degrees. Why I should equate with 90? Because sine of some angle into secant of some other angle, it is giving me equal to 1. That is corollary, that is the conclusion what we derived. So 3 alpha minus 2 alpha is alpha. Alpha is 90 minus 43. Alpha is nothing but 47 degrees. And what is asked in the question? Alpha itself is asked. That means my answer for this question is 47 degrees. Answer for my question is 47 degrees. Next. Now see here. This question is clear. This question also should be clear. In this question I am making use of tan alpha into tan beta is equal to 1. In this question I am making use of sin alpha into secant beta is equal to 1. Similarly, I can take another question which can be used by this concept. What is the other corollary which we implemented? We said that cos alpha into cosecant beta, cos alpha into cosecant beta is equal to 1. If this is equal to 1, that means that alpha plus beta is equal to 90 degrees, right? This also we made use of. Using this, we will solve one question right now. What is the question? These are all some questions which came in exam, sir. If cos of x minus y plus 23 into cosecant of y minus x plus theta plus 22 degrees is equal to 1, then find the value of cot theta plus tan square theta. Definitely, if you don't know this concept, whatever I have written above, when you see this particular question in the examination, you will feel like leaving this question because you will think that it is a very very difficult question. Now see here, beautiful question, sir. Not at all difficult if you know the concept. This entire thing, whatever is there in the bracket angle, I will call that angle as alpha. This entire thing, whatever is there in this bracket is nothing but another angle. I will call that another angle as beta. Your question becomes, if cos alpha into cosecant beta equal to 1, that means if cos alpha into cosecant beta is equal to 1, then alpha plus beta is 90. Alpha is x minus y plus 23. Beta is y minus x plus theta plus 22. This will be equal to 90 degrees, right? This will be equal to 90 degrees. X and minus x cancels, y and minus y cancels. So can I say that 23 plus 22 is 45. That 45 goes to the right hand side. Theta is 90 minus 45. It is 45. Your question will now reduce to find the value of cot theta. Theta is 45. cot 45 is 1 plus tan square theta. Tan 45 is also 1. 1 square is again 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. It's a very easy question, but you will end up fumbling in this question if you don't know this concept, whatever we discussed. That is the reason I kept on saying that learn concept, learn concept, learn concept. I hope the idea should be very, very clear. I hope the idea is clear. Now, see here. Another very easy question. This is, we have taken some questions which are intermediate and advanced in between. Now, let us solve one or two easy questions. Suppose, this is a very easy question, sir. If cos of 40 plus x, if cos of 40 plus x is equal to sin 30, then find the value of x. Now, see here. Simple common sense should say us that I told you in the beginning of my class that whenever it is cos and sine, whenever it is cos and sine, the sum of these two angles should give me 90 degrees, right? That means this is 30 degrees. That means this entire thing should be 60. Then only the sum will be 90. 40 plus something should give me 60. That something is 20. This is very easy if you have understood in this concept. Otherwise, you will use allied angles and write it as 90 minus something or whatever and explain it step by step. Not required. Direct answer. I told you in the starting of my class, if cos and sine are same, if cos and sine has to be equal, the sum of the angles should be 90 degrees. This particular angle of cos and this particular angle of sine, the sum should be 90 degrees. That means 30 is there. That means this should be entire 60. 30 plus 60 is only 90. 40 plus something is 90. That something is 20. Easy way of understanding. Anish, very good that you asked me that doubt. Alpha plus beta is 90, alpha plus beta is 180, alpha plus beta is 270. It can be any of these things, sir. It can be any of these things. And for all these things, we can derive conclusions. And I told you the concept for 90 and 180. You can try it out for 270 and 360. But 270 and 360, you might not get too much of problems in exam. So that is the reason I did not discuss those things, which is not required. It is not that important for your exam. The most important things are 90 and 180, and that too most important is 90 degrees. Sadanand, you are absolutely right, sir. Cos 1 degree and sin 89 degrees. They both are definitely equal. Cos 1 and 89 are equal. Cos 2 and sin 88 are equal. Like that it continues. Raj Sharma. Do I need to explain this one, sir? What I am trying to explain here is, Raj Sharma, cos of theta is equal to sin of 90 minus theta, which we know already, Raj Sharma. Theta and 90 minus theta sum is 90. That means cos and sin will become equal if the sum of angles is 90 degrees, Raj Sharma. That means here the angle is 40 plus x. Here the angle is 30. The sum should be 90. Right hand side is, left hand side is 70, shift it. 90 minus 70 is 20. Raj Sharma, I believe that it is clear, sir.